Infrastructure Capital Improvement Plan, the ICIP, presented by the project's coordinator and SCOG representative, Tiffany Goldby.
We don't have any sound on any of the mics.
No? Good evening, Mayor and Board of Trustees. I'm trying not to give you the back, but I want to speak to the public since it's for public input. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gloria Benitez. I'm the project's coordinator. We're here to get public input for our ICIP, which is the Infrastructure Capital Improvement Plan. It's a planning document that it's a yearly planning document that we try to approve and have ready for, can help with legislative session, or it can help with getting grants approved for the city or faster. It's kind of like a wish list. We do have copies of the list in the back. We're asking for any input that residents may want to give us on the order of where the order of the list. So if we have any questions, I'm happy to answer. We do have Ms. Tiffany Goldby, which she's more knowledgeable in any of the requirements. I stand for any questions that the residents may have. Okay, so right now, the list that we have is, we have as number one, Anthony Community Parks and Recreation. According to the public input that we received last year, which was very minimum, and then the rest was created by the board. They wanted the Anthony Community Parks and Recreation as number one. Number two, Anthony Streets and Improvement and Sidewalks. Number three, Anthony Economic Development Infrastructure. Number four, Anthony Health and Wellness. Number five, Anthony Flood Control Improvements. Number six, Anthony Transfer Station. Number seven, Anthony Public Safety Equipment. Number eight, Public Safety Building. Number nine, Public Works Vehicle and Equipment. Number 10, Walking Paths and Bike Lanes. 11, Anthony Neighborhood Services Equipment. Number 12, Anthony Library Improvements. So there's no limit to how many items we can have on the list, but the list does have some language that in case, let's say lighting is one of the priorities of the community. We can add the lighting in the scope of one of these categories.
So as far as the infrastructure for street improvements and such, how do you go about choosing which area of the city you would begin with?
Thank you for asking that. It's a good question. So how I would determine that, I would go to the mayor, request his input, and see what he is, what are his goals on doing in that area.
And so how would he receive that information? Is it public input? And so how are you all going to go about that?
So this is the reason why we have these meetings. That way we can receive the input. In any other board meeting, you can come in, express your concerns in certain areas, or you're always welcome to come to City Hall, do like a, if you want to have.
Assessment? So I mean, you need to prioritize what streets. I mean, I live in a neighborhood where it has not been touched in years. We have no sidewalks, and so we live in the Los Lagos area, and so there's lighting in our street that's no longer working, so that's a common thing. There has to be some type of process that you put in place so that you can prioritize what streets or what community or what part of the city is going to be focused on.
Okay.
It's just because if we, there can be people that I don't think this was announced to the community, because I'm sure there's a lot of needs within the community, but without the community knowing that this money is available, and how we can voice our needs, then it's difficult for you to get any type of input and how to prioritize.
Okay, this is actually our second meeting. We're thinking of even doing a third one depending on what the input is today. It has been posted in our social media. This is a yearly planning document, so every year it happens around the same time.
But you also have to keep in mind that there's a lot of older people in our community that do not have social media. So there has to be different outlets that you provide the information to. And I understand it's difficult, but I think there's other ways. I think that maybe you should bring a committee of community members, and then they maybe have more input with that to meet with the mayor or the trustees.
Okay. Yeah, that can be something that residents can discuss with the mayor as well.
So, Mr. Ramirez, how truly is it gonna be, let's say we express our concerns or the areas that are affected by economic, how truly are we as residents feel confident in the board in actually doing something about it? For example, there's been a light that has not been addressed for over 2 years, and they know about it, and yet nobody has done anything to fix that, alleviate that problem. So how we, us the residents, don't feel that we're just coming up here and expressing our concerns, public safety, there's a lot of people that are walking around the 4th Street jogging trail area, and they know it. It's been known for years that it's, it's a danger to their to public safety, yet nothing has been done. So how will we know that if we come over here and address our concerns, they're actually going to be, addressed?
I don't have a specific answer for that. I do know, and as in my job duties, I have submitted an application for lighting in the specific area that you are mentioning. I'm hoping and crossing our fingers that we do get awarded. But it would be for like a cross, I requested money to do like a crosswalk with lighting. Like I saw there's this censored crosswalk that whenever people are passing by the sensors, it should light up the area. That way cars are.
Yeah, now with the sidewalk that opened up to the, it's like a little jogging trail, another one, opening up to the actual those levels and leading to the urgent care. Because now there's a lot more people actually walking and jogging and doing their exercising inside the actual property of those levels, or those levels. So that's what I mean, all that area needs to be lighted up, and it's been addressed, it's been brought up to their attention for years, and it's, just falling on deaf ears.
Thank you for bringing that up again.
As far as the Anthony Community Parks and Recreation, there's a baseball field that I know that at one point, there was a time where fields weren't accessible at the high school. And so there was a call made to the city asking about access to those fields for games that could not be played. But they were charging a large amount of money for use. Is that still something that's, or can this money be used to cover use of fields?
So just to clarify, the money that shows here is not what we have currently. Is actually what we have been funded previous years before, and it doesn't show how much money, if we even have money for it at the moment. So what you see under the 27, 28, 29, those are our wishful numbers. So we wish to request that money.
And so you'll be writing the grant?
I don't write the grants. If there is one that we can apply for or request during our legislative session, that is something that we can request to our legislators during the month of January through February. And our board members are welcome to go up to Santa Fe and help us request or make a statement.
I have a suggestion. So, why don't you all go out to the senior citizens that and let them know like what you all have planned, or where they think that we should have improvement. I mean, I know when the election times was around, people were out, going out there and talking to them, so, I mean, can you all not do that also?
Yes, we actually did that with one of their CDBG applications. So we can try and see if we can, that can be done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
We have records, for example, funded to date. Are there records to show where $1,555,382 were spent, or are they missing?
I can answer that too because it's in the system.
Okay.
So actually, what you're looking at right now is the ICIP that was adopted by the Board of Trustees last year in the old system for the ICIP. Since then, the state has instituted a new system. So going forward, and actually all the information has already been inputted into that system, and that system actually tracks by each funding source and how much has been spent or obligated for each amount that's been funded to date. So,
If I can interrupt, we're going to briefly adjourn the meeting to resolve the audio issue, so that way people from the public that are online can hear. We're having IT issues, if we can work on those. We'll adjourn for about 15 minutes. Is hereby reconvened at 6:37 p.m. The meeting was previously recessed due to technical issues affecting public access. We will conduct roll call for the record.
Here.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Trustee Garcia,
Here.
Trustee Herrera,
Here.
Trustee Barreras,
Here.
Trustee Sylviano,
Present.
Mayor, you have a 4-0 vote. It's slow.
Let the record reflect that a quorum is present and public access has been restored. For clarity of the record, the governing body will reconsider approval of agenda order. Is there a motion to approve the agenda order?
Make a motion to approve agenda order. I second.
First motion has been made by Trustee Herrera. Second has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. Roll call.
MPT Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Herrera,
Yes.
Trustee Barreras,
Yes.
Trustee Sylviano,
Yes.
Mayor, you have a 4-0 vote.
Thank you. Motion carries. The agenda order is approved. We will now move to discussion, public input of the capital improvement plan ICIP. Ms. Ramirez and Scott representative, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mayor, Board of Trustees. Hello again. We're here to resume. Just to clarify some quick concerns that some residents had, where the columns that says funded to date, it's not the money that we have currently. It's the funding that the city has received or awarded, I want to say basically since it's been incorporated, but this number is more updated on the platform that's being created by the Department of Finance Administration. So they created a new website where more accurate information is in there. But basically, that's what the funded to date column is for.
And so we have access to that website?
Do residents have access to the?
I believe they put it on a dashboard, but not directly access to the.
I think that it might be accessible to the residents, no, but
I believe through an ICP dashboard.
I'll get an answer for that and update. I don't know if you want to give me your contact information. And then, we can request, it's a new website where everything is, any glitches, we can let them know, that way they can improve on that platform.
And then, just a reminder, any comments, including presenters or members of the public, if you guys can do them through a microphone, so that way the members from online can hear.
Mayor King, just in regards to the constituents that was asking about this website, if she prefers, is it possible that we could provide her with a copy of this?
Definitely. Right now, we do have the ICIP draft on our website, but once it's finalized, we can also put it on our website, so that way it's available.
So rather than her going through the estate website, she can go through our website and access it there, and if she needs a physical copy, she can request it from the city, correct?
Right.
Thank you.
No, I don't think
Yeah, we
I
can,
can hear you through the speaker on the, but not that speaker. I can hear that through the computer or the laptop. So I don't know if this is working.
Can you say something in the speaker?
So check.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you. So now going back to the ICIP, we will go ahead and put it on our website. Right now, before you leave, we will also get contact information from you, so that way, whenever it's finalized, we can get that to you as well.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Tiffany Goolsby has a couple of copies where you're able to see the whole ICAP. I believe she has 4. So whoever wants a whole copy of the ICAP, it's kind of lengthy. She's welcome to pass them around. Any other questions or concerns?
Mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, go ahead.
Gloria, Tiffany, how much is up for grabs this year for the ICIP, the state, for the whole state?
MBK Garcia, so this is a planning document, it's not a grant. So it's basically like a wish list of the city.
I understand, but last year, there was $15 million that was up for, I guess, grabs, or I don't know how you want to state it.
That was for
That was
the
available.
ICP. I mean, the CDBG.
That was CDBG? Wasn't it this, where we approved the recreation center? That was CDBG? Okay. All right, thank you.
Tiffany, for 30, do we know how much is up for grabs this year for ICP? We don't. For CDBG.
No.
So a quick little thing that I wanted to do, if Tiffany, you want to help me with reading we do have streets on item number 2, which is Anthony Street's improvement and sidewalks. There's a couple of streets that are listed. If anyone knows or wants to add a street that you might want to see in the ICAP on the document, you're welcome to let us know. These are the ones that are listed.
Right now, the streets that are listed include O'Hara, Acosta, Church, Livesay, Pondwood Lane.
One
First.
second, we can display it for the people. Okay, my apologies, Ms. Goldstein.
Pondwood Lane, First, Second, Miller, Calar, Grants, Madison, Van Buren, St. Anthony, Dos Lagos, Monroe, McDonald, Lee, Adams, Lynn, Archer, Lincoln, San Andres, and Morales.
Anyone have any suggestions of any other streets that you may want to add to the list.
Gorman?
Mayor?
Trustee Herrera, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to add the completion of Elm Street and then that little piece where it's Camino Real. That is a historic road. Camino Real is just only about maybe 3, 4 blocks. And nothing has ever been done to that one.
Thank you, trustee.
So these are the street names. Right now, do we have any comments from the board as to any additional streets you would like to ask?
Mayor Guillen?
Go ahead.
I just had a question. Right now, it's being proposed to do these number of streets. Some of the streets were added by Mr. Herrera, in his comment. When is it that this proposal is finalized to where we know exactly when that's going to be the final approval of this of this proposal for the fixing of these streets? When is that date that this will be finalized and approved for construction?
Mayor, if I may, so trustee Soriano, this plan is supposed to be adopted and submitted to DFA by July 1st. So this is our second public input meeting. We do, depending on this meeting, we might have a third one. After the third one, we'll have a DOT workshop where the DOT will be able to discuss and align the list to your liking. And that's going to be adopted by resolution on your next board meeting after that one.
So we still have, 2 more meetings? And this is in reference to our constituents, so they can have more participation as to what they feel or they think or they've seen or observed out there that may need additional construction that perhaps us as the board have missed or have not seen. So that's why I was asking when was the last day, and you clarified that by saying July 1st it has to be submitted. So to the public, this we still have 2 other meetings where they can engage and bring forth their ideas to submit for this final proposal on July 1st. So just for the constituents to make a note of that, so that they can bring their ideas to the table so they can be considered.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, Ms. Betty.
I was under the impression that there was a list of priorities that was developed on streets that needed to be redone, worked on. Because if everybody just gives, I might want to just name a street. Just because I named a street doesn't mean it's gonna be on the list, or is it gonna be on the list? I thought the city had developed a list of priorities for streets that were going to be worked on back at least a year ago. And it seems to me that's more logical than just everybody giving, a street name.
Thank you, Ms. Betty. So with the streets that we have here, we can give to the Board of Trustees and the mayor so they can do the list, that's the priority list. After that, right now I can get together with mayor, either discuss if he wants a special meeting with the board to create a priority list using or doing his goals.
Thank you.
So, with this one, the way that ICIP works is we hear comments from the public, we incorporate it into our ICIP, and depending on those publics, the board then utilizes that information and amends. As far as the list that you're talking about, that was not discovered when I came into office, we are working on doing something like that. So it has been discussed with staff, we just have not gone around it, but that was one of the first things that I did ask Ms. Ramirez when I came into office. Do we have a priority list and stuff like that? And we do not, so we're currently in the works on doing something like that.
Mayor Guillen,
Go ahead.
I think maybe shining light on that issue, I think what the constituents is concerned about, as Ms. Soriano over here and Ms. Betty were asking, and I would share the same sentiment with them, as you know, and this is in regards to, has there been an assessment made to which determined what streets are gonna get rebuilt or redone? Was that assessment based on the utility of the road, the age of the road, the severity of damage on the road? What criteria was utilized to assess these streets that are on this list were prioritized? And I think that that's what the public wants to know also. How is this assessment going to take place? Has there been an assessment previously? And will there be another assessment once the ideas of the streets or the streets that are going to be added to this list, how are those streets going to be assessed? And I think that's also a question that I would have, and I'm not sure if you have the answer right now for the constituents, but that's something that needs to be looked at, whether an assessment was made, how were these streets assessed, and whether there's going to be another assessment made on the additional streets that are going to be added to this list. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Soriano. So as mentioned, an assessment has not been completed to my knowledge. An assessment has not been done by this current administration. We are working towards that. What I can commit to is we can put together an assessment prior to the workshop, so that way the governing board does their assessment with the street list, and then implement those changes based off of what is assessed. I don't have an answer as to how it's going to be, and one has never been done here, to my knowledge, has not been done here at the city. But we can commit to providing that assessment to you guys prior to your workshop.
Mayor Guillen?
Go ahead.
My thing is that if we do come together as a board and obviously we don't have the expertise to make the assessment ourselves, who would be the subject matter experts or SMEs, as they would call them, that would come aboard to help us assess the streets? And I think that prioritizing that, because we only have until July to finalize this. And I think that these type of assessments take a considerable amount of time unless there's already one that had been done and we're not aware of it. So this is you know, July is a very close timeline to submit our proposal. And we need the subject matter expert, whether it would be an engineering firm or an architectural firm that would come in and assess these streets. Because at this point, I don't think none of us have the expertise to make assessments on streets. But so if we can look at who would be the subject matter expert that would be coming on board to assess and finalize this proposal in the streets.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may add, so I believe the list that Ms. Betty was referencing was a list that was done by the previous administration, but the assessment was done by the board. So what they had done was they went out to by themselves on one day. They looked at every street around the city, and they had a workshop, and they got together and made up a list. So that was their priority list. When Mr. Mayor got into office, I requested his goals on many lists. He said we're gonna be working on creating a priority list for this board. Either, I don't know if Mr. Mayor would want to do that anytime soon before July 1st. I would leave that up to him. In regards to who would be doing the professional assessment, I believe that would be BHI, which is our on-call engineering firm. I do not know how much they would charge and if our budget may allow that.
Mayor Guinea?
Trustee Soriano, go ahead.
And perhaps this information is available or not. I'm not sure. I was not here during the past administration. But normally, you know, when you do any sort of assessment, you have to base it on some sort of criteria. And I don't know if the previous board made that street assessment and what criteria was utilized to determine what streets were prioritized, or were they just made on a visual cue, or were they just based on preference? And I think that's what Ms. Betty was alluding to, that the process has to be based on some sort of criteria to make it fair for our constituents, because it wouldn't be fair to fix one street just because it's a matter of preference when another street is completely, you know, in dire needs of repair. So I don't know if that information is available, but you know, what criteria was utilized to assess the streets. But that is something that I think would probably need to be reviewed, in my opinion. But that's just how I see things, and I share the sentiment with the public as well. We need to have a better way to assess these things using a criteria that is fair for everybody in Anthony, you know.
Yes, Trustee Soriano, I completely agree. We can commit to attempting to do something prior to your guys' workshop. I do think it wasn't with this past administration. I believe it was 2 boards ago, because I was in the past administration and we never did a street improvement list. I think we asked to see that list and we never received it. So I believe it was quite some time ago. We did, you know, search for the list, and you know, we didn't access one. But I mean, you heard from Ms. Ramirez, the prior assessment was done by the board. You know, we can put something up for the board to complete at least prior to that deadline. Something, if we can get something going with our engineers before the deadline, you know, we will. But if we can't, we will have an assessment to be done just by the board, and in the future incorporate our on-call engineers, which is Bohannon and Houston. Bohannon and Houston has knowledge as to prior, because Mr. Hamilton used to be with Wilson and Company. So he has knowledge of what has occurred in the past and what he has approached and assisted the city with. But also the ICIP is strictly to public input. You know, they require for us to have public input. So a street list isn't really done by the board or incorporated until we make a decision on the final workshop meeting. But right now, all the comments that we're receiving from the public is incorporated to the ICIP. That's a requirement that it is. Ms. Gonzalez, go ahead.
Yes, and also looking at your list, Acosta Church, Live Safe, and O'Hara is a state road. But those 3 streets, Acosta Church and Live Safe, were cleared for federal money through the MPO. The city didn't attend any of the MPO meetings. We didn't have representation there. I know that our current mayor has now gone to at least his first meeting at the MPO. But when, if we're eligible to get federal money, then we need to make appearances at those MPO meetings regularly. I mean, we need some representation there. Why should we, you know, this list of just streets like Kayla or Grant, whatever, those are city streets, but if we can get federal money, and it was eligible, and those 3 streets were eligible for federal money, then we should try to get that money. I mean, it just doesn't make sense that we should try to pave these streets that are eligible for federal money and leave out all these other little streets that, you know, are truly needing some assistance too. But our engineer, Eric, was employed by Wilson and Company. He knew, he was very knowledgeable about, you know, roads, and because that's his field. Once Wilson was out of the picture, he was hired by Bohannon. So he has a lot of knowledge about all the roads here in Anthony and what's required, because that's his field. He's an engineer. So, I mean, it wouldn't take him long to look at these streets and try to prioritize the local streets. But I really would encourage trustees to start going to those MPO meetings. I just talked, we were going to all the MPO meetings prior to the city becoming a city. And so the small group knew the streets that were involved. Mr. Art Franco, he was mayor of Anthony at that time. He knows, because he was there, and I just spoke to him recently and said, you know, he said, well, Anthony needs to start going to those MPO meetings. And not only that, but Gloria, who is commissioner for the county, volunteered at one of the recent meetings to start attending the MPO meetings for the county. So, I mean, we have the mayor, we have Gloria. I mean, we ought to be able to get some attention there. So hopefully, and if it means that they want community members to be there, I would be glad to go.
Any more input for our ICIP planning?
One second, Gloria, let's switch to the microphone. Any additional comments with the ICIP? I know we just reviewed the list. Any priority projects or items that the public would like to see on the priority list?
Anyone online?
Mayor Guimard?
Trustee Soriano Gomez.
And just for the record, so it gets put on the minutes, can I please have the city clerk send me a notification of when the next MPO meeting will be and what their scheduled meetings will be? And I'm not sure if the rest of the trustees would like the same information, but for the record, if I can please have that information. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody from the public that would like to comment on ICIP? Anyone online that would like to comment on ICIP or priorities they would like to see?
I just would like to comment that whenever you're presenting, that we don't use acronyms, that you actually use the words, because there's a lot of constituents that don't fully understand your language. And so it needs to be presented in a comprehensible manner to the citizens. So, I mean, just
Are you referring to the ICIP?
well, anything that you present, I think needs to be done clearly and in a language that we can understand and not use acronyms.
Mayor Guimard?
Trustee Soriano, go ahead.
Just as a suggestion, we can include an acronyms list on the agenda whenever we're going to be speaking of such items that include a lot of acronyms. I do agree with Ms. Soriano there, and I think that could easily be mitigated by whenever we're going to discuss items of this sort. I think they can be put in acronyms list in reference to what we're going to be talking about on the agenda or an attached list to the agenda.
Noted. Any comments from individuals online that would like to speak? Okay, thank you, and this now concludes our public comments for this period. Thank you, Ms. Ramirez and Ms. Golson.